The Ferrari F50. Italian flair. Boldest in concept and so operatic in execution. Ferrari has been producing fast and stylish cars for over 50 years. Their intention is that every new model will be faster and more beautiful than the one before. Their expectation is that every car will be a classic.
Even dealing with things like traffic and other things that intrude into that system, the driver of the car still has control over all of that stuff. I think that's a rare experience for all of us.
Building a powerful engine is not enough. It's not just the engine that makes a Ferrari F50 perform at the limit like this. To go this fast and still be safe, it must have balance. Drivers talk a lot about balance, especially through corners. At the limit of adhesion, it feels as if the car is on tiptoes, dancing through the apex. All that maintains the balance between powerful and opposing forces is the car's chassis, suspension, and tires. The Ferrari uses a sealed undertray to accelerate the air under the car. It's shaped like an inverted aircraft wing, so it lowers the air pressure and squeezes the car onto the road. Now, the rear spoiler is not just for show. It develops enough downforce that at 200 miles an hour, if the road turned upside down, the car would still stick. As important as what you hang into the air is what you hide from it. On the Ferrari Formula One car, the springs and dampers are taken out of the airstream and tucked into the center line of the car. The F50 is the same, running push rods up to the horizontally mounted springs and dampers. Now, even though he can't see it, this is what the driver of a fast car feels, the car working around him and through him. Downloading data from the car is much easier than measuring a driver's state of mind.
I'm going to go around you. And this, the very first electrode that I'm placing here is the reference electrode.
Until recently, scientists had little opportunity to examine the physiology of car control.
You can see different changes possibly while you're making turns, if you're doing sharp turns versus straightaways. And this is a probe that measures the amount of oxygen in your arterial blood. It uses a signal and it picks up the pulsing sensation in your finger.
Giuseppe is being wired into a portable, non-invasive medical monitoring kit developed for another form of high-speed transport, the space shuttle. This is the first time it's being used to monitor a high-performance driver. Second by second, Giuseppe's heart rate, breathing, oxygen saturation, eye movement, and brain activity are being gathered by sensors and recorded under a computer memory card. The graph shows the physiology of stress, high heart rate, rapid eye movements, and interrupted breathing. Normally, pacemaker neurons in the brain stem control breathing. It's automatic, but Giuseppe is so intensely involved in the physical act of driving that breathing is being taken over by the cerebral cortex, a higher authority which occasionally stops it altogether.
You've got the heavy braking. Once you've gotten rid of that braking, then as you prepare setting the car up through the corner, you are on the power because you're trying to apply as much power as is possible for you to stay on the road, but also to give you quick exit speed. And that is stressful. Every single one of these movements, every single one of these corners, when you negotiate it at high speed and you know you've gone through it quick, you invariably feel that it's one small victory.
With every victory comes achievement, and achievement is addictive.
I can see areas where your muscles are very tense and very tonic, and then there are areas where the muscle tension decreases, or you're probably a little more relaxed at that time.
Okay, that probably is when you start turning into a really tight corner. So you're bracing yourself in the car.
We saw a lot of eye movement, a lot of chin activity. Your respirations may have gotten a slight bit more frequent.
There was a lot of eye movement because I was looking out for stones, and if I did see something, I was also trying to determine on what side of the road that I would flow to avoid that stone.
There's no indication in the brainwave pattern of Giuseppe's mood, but the combination of physical indicators suggests fear. Instead, Giuseppe feels pleasure.
It's a very finite line there between pleasure and fright. But if you have the right machine to do it with, then it becomes a pleasure. If you don't have the right machine, then that very quickly turns to absolute fright because you don't have control.
Pleasure is an indicator that endorphins are being released into the brain. It's a little like that thrill we get after surviving a roller coaster ride. But the difference in a fast car is the pleasure the driver gets from control.
At the end of the drive, what it does is it brings you very close to the machine, and you actually feel that there is such thing as a harmony between a human being and something mechanical. You become very emotional towards a vehicle because you know that there were a couple of moments where you had some moments, and it's just like if you were hanging off a cliff and the person that came and pulled you off that cliff, even though you weren't a friend of his before, but you certainly will become a friend of his real quick. And this car does almost the same thing.